And a good afternoon to everyone. Just as soon as I decided I wanted to stream some stuff, Mr. Soft and Fluffy decided to wake up, so I had to go give him some attention. Alright, so a couple of updates here. One, I cleaned my desk a little bit, so now it's not as messy. I do want to straighten the camera up a little bit. It's not as dirty here. It is pretty clean. If subjective. Number two, the game bought the GameCube has been completed, sent off, sold. I worked on one of the Game Gears offline because I wanted to do one of those while I was trying to figure out what was going on with the other one. I do know what was happening with that Game Gear that I wasn't working. I think there might be something wrong with one of the power rails. So I am going to end up replacing, and I'll just show you here. I believe it is something to do with these cables. Now, over 20 years since they get stiff and all that, they can break. So what I'm going to end up doing is desoldering and then resoldering everything manually, just to see what happens, and if it works without any problems, then I'm just going to order a replacement cable for this, and then that one should be done. So that one I'll get to in a little while. Not today. We're not going to touch that one today. Today we're going to tackle a couple of other things that I have been working on. Let me just get rid of the starting soon. So there have been other things I've been working on. One of them is a plastic container which contains a Walkman. Now, the problem with this Walkman, even though it looks like it's broken because I've torn it all apart, it actually works. So this is a WMF404, and there were two problems with this. One of them was that the battery leads were corroded, so I have still have a little bit of corrosion I have to get rid of, but I have cleaned this up to a point where it is usable. It works with power. The second thing it needed was a new belt, which I have right here. So we're going to put the new belt on at some point, and we will see if that fixes it. New belt just arrived today. However, we have something of a bit of a showcase to show off, and something a little spooky regarding some Walkmans today. And I say spooky because some of these are worth quite a bit if they get repaired. I'm actually kind of terrified on working on some of these. So we'll start off small. This one here is a WMEX633. I had a look at some of these yesterday, so I knew what I was talking about. I will get rid of the price tag. So, friends of my associates went to Japan recently and bought a whole bunch of Walkmans, and came back as like, well, these were cheap. They're worth something in the US. If we get it fixed, it'll be a nice profit, which, sure. So just looking here, we've got some battery corrosion. So the chances are that this is going to need the battery leads fixed up, cleaned, repaired, and probably a new belt. Uh, we'll probably have a look at them all today, but I just want to quickly get through the showcase. The second one we have here is a nice shiny boy. This thing is gorgeous in person. This is a WMEX808. It is absolutely stunning looking. Look at how gorgeous and shiny this thing is. Absolute fingerprint magnet. This also has some corrosion around the battery leads. It will probably also require a new belt. But that is absolutely stunning looking. I'll just keep that there. I want to try to avoid my face showing up though, so I'm just gonna like this for now. The third one is a MIDI disc recorder from Denon. This thing is pretty hefty. It is model number DMP-R50. Might need a new belt. Not sure yet. But a couple of neat things about this. One, that's how you eject. Nice. Oh, I just love the feel of this eject mechanism. It is hefty. And two is the battery case is huge. So this is a AAA battery. If I put the AAA in, yeah, it just swallows it whole. I don't think it's going to be a C cell battery. It's a DC 3.6 volt battery. These C cells are 1.5, so this requires a specific type of battery that I might need. I probably won't buy one. I'll probably just test it with the leads. I might be able to shove a test lead down to the negative. Yeah, but it looks pretty clean in there so far. So this might just need, again, a new belt. And then we come to the scary bits. I don't know how much these ones would sell for. They probably will sell for a quite a nice price once sold. The first scary one is an absolutely gorgeous little Walkman from Toshiba. The second most expensive thing that I'm going to have to look at, it is this, a stereo cassette player, KT-AS10. There's not a lot of information about these online, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Some of the problems so far is that the front of it seems to be peeling away, so maybe that's just needs to be stuck on. One of the things I also noticed is that this fast forward button is not connecting to anything in the background there. So I don't know what that's going to really do to this. I'll have to do some research. But this is a very unique device. So this is the size of a typical Walkman. This is the size of the device. It's kind of small, even though it's rather thick. I am going to show this to you against my test tape, Barenaked Ladies. Yeah. So what actually happens is that this sticks out. It's great. So we open this up, and what this actually contains right now is an AM/FM stereo tuner pack. And this does work. It works perfectly. I tested this last night. I was able to tune into radio. It sounds amazing. So there's nothing wrong with this. I just might need to try to clean up some of this a little bit, just so it doesn't look so grody. That doesn't connect to anything, so I'm not really going to worry too much about that. But then you put your tape in like so, and then you... Why doesn't it want to... It's not sitting in there properly. Oh, I know why. So this piece of plastic keeps falling out. I'm going to have to find a way to stick that in. But yeah, that's it, closed. It looks so cool like this, though. I love it. Play on off. It is trying to do something, but I don't think that the belts, like it, I think this is just going to need a new belt. Because I feel it trying to do something. I feel the motor spinning, but the tape itself is not doing anything, and I'm not hearing anything from the audio when I hit play. Absolutely gorgeous thing. I love this. I wish I could keep it, but I can't. So we're gonna pull this one open as well. Oops. Oh yeah, the eject mechanism is just right here. It doesn't seem to be connected to anything, but there seems to be a latch that it's connected to down here. That is keeping that open and closed. Then when you want to listen to radio, you just pop that back in, and it's just a radio player. I love this. It is so, so cool. But that's not the scariest one. The scariest one is this. It doesn't look like much, but I can tell you that this thing weighs a ton. It is hefty. And when you open it up, you get this. It is a WM-DD9. Look it up for yourself how much this would sell for. It is rather expensive. Rather expensive. But this is supposed to be one of the best Walkmans that you can buy. It retailed originally for 50,000 yen. So around 500 US dollars back in the day if it was a 1-to-1 ratio. It has Dolby sounds. It can play normal and copper oxide tapes. It only runs on a 1.5 volt battery, but I don't think the batteries last very long on these because of everything that it can do. I think, again, I think this one just needs a new belt. It may also need the... because this runs on 2 motors, which is also why the batteries don't last very long on them. I think one of the motors might be shaking, because when I tried it yesterday, it was doing some weird wobbling stuff when I was holding it. So one of the other things I wanted to point out is just how you get to the battery. So this is both the battery and the tape release mechanism. So you hold once, push once to open this, and then once that's open, there's the battery. And it just takes a regular AA battery. I actually feel it doing something. Feels like it's trying to calibrate. Yeah, it's trying to fast forward. Oh no. It's got lights showing up if I hit play. Oh, it's not doing anything because there's no tape in it. So let's just put a tape in for now. Oh, there are out there. I didn't see them. Yeah, it doesn't seem to actually be doing anything. I think it's detecting that there's a problem, so it is Just hello. It's not doing anything, but it is an absolutely gorgeous device. Weighs a ton. Is definitely something spooky that we're going to work on because of just how much this goes for. This case does need a little bit of a cleaning, but again is in really good condition. This came from Japan, so they take care of everything. Lovely loop on the back. This thing is a treasure to hold, and I'm sure this will live in someone's collection fantastically. But I think we're just going to start off a little. We're probably not going to touch the mini disc today because I don't have a reference tape yet. I've got one ordered and it's being shipped out today, but I don't know when it's actually going to get here. So I'm just going to hold off on touching that for now. Put our Bare Naked Ladies back in. So let us start with this one here. I've got a cat who's dying for attention. Let me just this. Oh, where is my? I know everyone here wants a little bit of cat cam. Let me see if I can get cat cam working. No, what are you doing? I have no idea where my camera went. He wants some attention, so I will show you the cat. That is a little laggy today, isn't it? I don't know if that's just me or if that's the camera. I'll restart the camera app in a sec, but right now I just wanted to show you cat. Everyone wants cat. Yeah, hello, Minu. Oh yeah, big belly. Look at that big chungus belly. Oh yeah. Not usually are allowed around the workbench because I'm going to try to keep this as pet hair free as possible, but he wanted attention. Hey there, hot Bobby. Thank you for showing up for Spooky Time stream today. Let me try restarting the camera app real quick because it does seem to be a bit laggy. I'm wondering if perhaps it is. No, it's set to 60 FPS. Let me try restarting the app. There it is. No, not like that. How's that look? That seems to be working a little better. I'm not sure why that was going up very slowly. So the plan is I'm going to have a look at these until 7 Eastern, so another 2.5 hours. Going to end up taking a break, and then I've got Final Fantasy XIV raids at 8. I will stream that for anyone who is interested. And then I'm probably not going to look at these until Sunday evening. I am heading out on Saturday afternoon, and I don't want to get myself stuck into a new project before I head out and then lose my place. There might One of the other things that I wanted to do was I wanted to get back onto my losing streak in Slay the Spire, so I might do a little bit of that before I head out tomorrow. And then either Sunday evening or Monday, I will get back to starting to work on these. That being said, let's take a look at this WMEX633. Let me get a container that doesn't have anything in it. Let's itemize this. So this is going to be item 003. So I did a large order. This is what, 1 second. WM. Itemize these for my sanity. I did a large order yesterday for some capacitors, and we're going to be doing another Game Boy mod. GameCube mod. Don't know why I always want to say Game Boy. So the capacitors should show up on Monday from what the tracking number shows. I should also be getting the reference tape for the game, the Walkmans, at some time next week, either next week or early the week after. And then the mini disc should be hopefully arriving within the next 2 weeks as well. So 0030. I don't think I'm going to need to take the fronts of this off, which is good. So I can ignore any of the screws that are attaching. Oh, that's not okay. So just these two side screws here that are attached. I don't need to touch those. What else can I ignore? I think that's about it. So I'm going to need to take out the outer cases. So let's just get right to it. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Friday. Fridays are great because you can take 4-day weekends or 3-day weekends, 4-day if Monday's a holiday. Lazy work days. Nice lazy work days. So before I pull the come on, just one there. Before I pull this off, I'm probably going to need to take off the battery case. And to do that, these are held in by this little tab here. There's a little plastic part here that's preventing it. No, sorry. There's a plastic tab underneath here that's keeping this in place. So you just want to lift the try to get this in a good place. Just lift the metal tab a little bit to be able to pull that out. Might actually not want to use tweezers. I might want to use, there it is, my metal spudging tool. It doesn't need a lot, just lift it a little bit and there it goes. Immediately going to encase that. if you don't do that, then you have to do some weird finagling sometimes to get the battery cases off. It doesn't look like it in this case, so that is good. I'm also going to move all of these levers down, so we know that it's always in the down position. Then just like that, nice and easy. So this belt has been destroyed. It was super loose before I took it off, but right now it is falling apart. So this is definitely going to need a new belt, which is great. That is a nice, easy fix. Like, look how old this belt is. It's just melted. Oh, gross. So what we are going to do before I close this one up is, so these belts, the belts I get from a place in the UK. There is no real good places in the US to get belts, and the only other place that I know of is in, oh god, China. So I'm making a hash of that, aren't I? So I get it from the place in the UK. I'm going to make several orders, hopefully, and then have them all shipped to me so we can get these done. Unfortunately, these just turn into petroleum after 20 years or so. Oh my lord. I'm going to keep this on screen, but just trying to get these belts off is a pain. I do have some belts that I bought, but they will be too thick and too heavy. So I'm not going to use any of them. I want a nice, especially like it's going to be too thick for this section here, this flywheel. I'm actually going to take that off and just gently rub that under here to get rid of the stuck belt. Thank goodness I've got a whole bunch of Kim wipes recently, because that is going to need a cleaning. Is there any other place I need to clean? Or maybe here. And I'm not moving the tweezers there, I'm moving the belt. I'm just lightly pushing up against it because I don't want to end up ruining the belt, the wheel. And this belt is also hooking out a little bit. Pliers, sorry, they're hooking out a little bit, so hopefully they're not scraping. I don't feel it scraping. And that should now be mostly clean. What about here? Clean. That's clean. Okay, so first we need to neutralize the acid here. So what I am going to do is start up my soldering iron, and I'm going to remove the battery leads on both the positive and negative. This back here for now. And then we're just going to dump it into our container that usually holds our vinegar. Get this out first, get rid of all that old acid. The one thing I didn't do yesterday was clean this. That is going to be good enough. I can use that rest to clean off that rubber. Iron up. So this one looks like it's going to be an easy fix. The only other thing that I'm going to need to do is adjust the potentiometer, which I'm going to guess is on the other side of the... Yeah, it's going to be on the other side, isn't it? That's going to be a pain. But we're not going to do that now. So let us just remove the positive and negative. Is this one soldered on? I don't think this one's soldered on. Well, I might just be able to remove. Yeah. Out of it? I don't think it was. We'll take it out anyway. No, let's put that back on. I don't think that was part of it. Yeah, there is a solder blob there. So, tiniest little bit of flux. The heat and solder spreads. That is a screw. Might as well do this all now while we know it exists. So we don't have to worry about it later. Load the heat. I think it just was the... that just lifts up like that. Solder there. So yeah, that was getting stuck underneath in this plastic holder here. That's for the positive terminal of a battery pack that you can just screw to the side. And then negative. What I'm going to want to do here is probably just wick up the solder. That's a bit of hot solder that's gone onto the plastic. That's fine. You can clean that up. Now let's see if we can get the... No. Right here. It looks like it's still attached. Rid of this hot solder that's splashed down. That's... I'm going to grab it from here, just gently. Hopefully that should just make it. There we go. Very gently. These parts are fragile. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on them. You just want to put the heat on and very gently wiggle it out. All right. So what we will do now is just I'm going to clean these up with a little bit of IPA. Yep. That's good. And we will swap to the other side. Good. Now, it looks like that the corrosion was minimum, which means that it looks like it did not flow to other parts of the board, which is great. I don't have to run any trace wires, anything. The blue is coming off, but that's fine because it is marked on the motor itself symbol. Yeah, so there was no corrosion here. There's no corrosion on the board, so this should be good. So now let's just grab our bag. Yeah, look it in. I'm just gonna have to use quite a bit because we're doing quite a few of these. What we should start seeing is some bubbles forming to neutralize that acid. There we go. You can see some bubbles forming at the bottom. That's just going to neutralize the acid while we turn this down. While we clean up the pulleys of the rest of that gunk. This one, because I can just easily remove it, and we're just gonna as much of that old gunky rubber as possible, so when we put the new belt in, it will not stick. I'm probably going to do several passes of this until it comes back nice and shiny and clean. Probably also want to wash my fingers while I'm at it, because that is probably not helping much. Lots of black already on there. Until I give them a good scrub, that'll do. And then I want to do another pass. This just to make sure. It's looking good. Shut up into it. It's looking good. So this is nice and clean. I'm not going to remove these because I can just, it's going to be easier for me to just do that. That one should be good as well. Get another Q-tip. It's soaking up quite a bit of that gunk. Now it should be mostly gone. Then lastly, this pulley. This one probably doesn't need as much of a clean since it was barely touching, but we'll give it a good scrub. So this one has been cleaned of its disgustingness. Looks real nice. I am afraid of where the potentiometer is for the speed adjustment. It is definitely going to be on the other side of this board, so we're not going to have much fun with that. There is a little bit of corrosion there. I'm just going to give this a quick pass with a tad of vinegar just to get rid of any possible corrosion that may have leaked out. But then we're going to want to clean that immediately with some IPA. We do not want vinegar to stick on the blood. Round that out. Let's have a look at our pieces. It's back on here. Okay, so this is looking a lot better. And just give these a bit of a scrub down. Oh yeah, that looks like it has not even been corroded. Very nice. We'll give this a little bit of a clean. Good. The negative terminal is being doused. It still looks a little gross, but we can just should be able to just rub a lot of that off. Put a little bit more light in there. Soak for a little bit more. We'll dust this off with IPO. Fingers as well. Meaning we could probably put this back on now. This is pretty, like this piece here is very, very clean. It didn't need a lot of corrosion removal, which is fantastic, but it was good to give it a vinegar bath anyway. And I'm just using white vinegar to neutralize the acid, which is perfectly fine. You just need to make sure you give it a good IPA bath before you try to put this back in. There we go. All right, let's put this one back into place, which was in here. Oh, I want to actually need to get into there a little bit more. Let's use a toothpick. Was there are some fine grains of corrosion in there, and I don't want that to be there. Just going to give it a quick toothpicking. Get another swabby. Oh, where? All the toothpicks are, or the cotton wool buds are at the back of the box now. I'm just going to dump that in there. That should eat up any acid that's left and neutralize it. And then we get an IPA bath. Shove that in there. That is clean. There are no corrosion in this one, so we don't need to worry about that. This is just a negative. This points to the negative of the output down here inside one of the planes, or this leads to where the negative would go normally. Now, to here, so those in there. And then we just tap that on with a little bit of fresh solder, screw that down, and it's good to go. A little bit of fresh solder on the tip. And just push down. That goes into place super easily. Lines needs to be pushed down over here some more. So we shall heat this up, push down, and that is beautifully fantastic. Yeah. Let's put the screw back on that. Good as new. Let's have a look at our other buddy over here. I'm just going to use a toothpick to try to get rid of the big pieces. I should probably be wearing gloves for this. I don't care. Fingers can get burnt up if they want. Toothpick in the back to get rid of any underneath corrosion. I don't like how corrosion doesn't seem to be coming off of this terminal point here. Let's get our, that's going to be the cleanest a toothbrush in here, shall we? Just look for that a little bit. I did bend it a little bit, but we can just bend that back in place efficiently. I still don't like how the corrosion is not coming off of there. You can still see it's still there because it's green. A little bit of corrosive material on the back. You might not be able to see this very well. Let me try to zoom in. How's this look now? Oh, there we go. So there is still a little bit of green on the back, which I should be able to clean off with a toothpick. But there's also some green here that doesn't want to be coming off. It's coming off slowly. And that green is what we want to get rid of, because that's going to be battery acid. That's green. It's not going to maintain proper battery contact, so we want to get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so the back, rid of that. Okay, so most of the acid has been neutralized and removed, which is good. We've got rid of the acid from the back. This is actually clean. There's a tiny little bit of corrosion there, but that is just surface rust from what I can tell. The only point that's giving me concern is this one here. Let me grab another toothpick with that. I've got bugs flying around me now. That up as much as possible. Might need to get some metal in there to scrape it. Let's get our spudging tool. Let's get our tweezers. Even though they're dirty, I can clean them up. Oh, let's clean the tweezers first. These tweezers are fucking... I need the rough edges of the tweezers to be able to properly scrape at. The there is still a little bit of green. Let's scrape with the edge of the tweezers, and that is coming off. Once again, I'm not getting this on camera. There we go. Just a little bit further down. There we go. Looking a lot better. I am going to just put that in here. And what I'm going to do, and I won't be able to show. So this is just a cheap zoom out. This is just a very cheap scope. I got this for $10 at Goodwill. It's not great for checking, like for doing solder work underneath and all that, but it is good enough to be able to at least verify if like solder joints are good or if the cleanliness of something is good. So let's see if I can get that here. I need to focus a little bit. I'm doing this on the fly, so this is not going to go terribly great. A bit more focus. That is out of focus. There we go. And Let's see if I can get some light down here. Because right now the light is not great. So there is still a little bit of correction. Not sure if you can see that at the top of the screen, but there is still a tiny bit of corrosion at the top. But the nub is good, so I'm just going to clean that. A little bit of corrosion at the top, and then we should be good. I am hoping at one point to be able to get a proper scope that I can display on screen and everything, but that is going to need to wait a little bit, unfortunately. Every time I am dripping this, I'm putting a little bit of vinegar on there. Vinegar will neutralize the acid and make it easier to remove from metal. I'm just going to do this offline because trying to get this, off screen, because trying to get this in focus is a bit of a pain. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. Actually, you can see that. Looks better. Looks a lot better. Maybe a little bit at the top. A little bit more at the top, and then we are good. So fantastic. We'll give both our tweezers and the path a good squeezing in isopropyl alcohol to neutralize any vinegar. Keep vinegar up here for the time being because we're going to need it. It's hard to be careful with these delicate parts because you cannot replace them. But that should not need to be touched for a good long while. That is very, very clean. We are going to be very careful when we slide this back in like so. And now we just need to screw it in and solder it on. We shall do the screwing on first. I will know the soldering on first. Line goes back up. Our flux. It's up. Big old solder. We just take that down. More solder. We just flood it. And there we go. That will hold for another 10 to 15 years. Add a little bit of a clean with our IPA. And we screw the screw back on. So the problem with this one is just that the belt has absolutely destroyed itself after 15 years of use. It has turned to rubber, to petroleum. So we all know that this one needs a new belt. I'm going to put this all back together. Probably one of the easy units to put back together, thankfully. That's all the switches to their right place. So that should just very delicately snap back into place. Just being careful of the, make sure the switches are doing well. That one isn't. This one is. That one is now. No, these two are out of place. So I need to lift them, and I think they were over there. Again. Perfect. We'll just put this back together. So, yeah, this one is going to be a nice, easy repair once we get the parts. And luckily, all of these external screws seem to be the same, because some of these that I've done, the external screws are not the same, and it causes problems. I think these are the, oh, I think it's first. Yes, I did. Fantastic. I'm going to leave this off for the time being. I'm going to give it a quick surface scrub with some IPA, just to make sure that none of the rubber residue that's in on my fingers gets stains the external case. I'm just going to get my fingers quick clean. Well, that is 0030. That is going to be a nice, easy fix. That's great. Unfortunately, I think fortunately, I think the rest of them are going to be like that. Unfortunately, I think all the other belts are going to be like that as well. So this is going to get dirty. Which itemizing this belts. Version on the balance. All to go. 0032. Let's have a look at shiny and chrome. Big shiny chrome. So this is the EX80 EX808HG. Let's remove this from it. Is Oh, and just looking at this, it's so gorgeous. It is shiny, it is chrome. It is not mediocre, folks. This is not a mediocre device. Is mediocre is the corrosion on the battery terminal. So let's see. Do I have a spare large plastic, small plastic, I should say? Two. No, I need to use my largies. All right. Out of largies in the middle of this. Sucks. 003. Ici. The terminal. Let's grab our tweezers instead, since that is a little further in than I thought it was going to be. Let's lift up something and slide right off. There is some corrosion on that. I'm going to have to neutralize. I'm going to do that with a Q-tip because I don't want to put it on the plastic. This one, I'm not going to need it. Ooh, that is also dusty and disgusting in there. So I might want to unhinge from here, but I will do that later. I want to see what the state of the inside of this is, and I want to see what the belt is like. So move all these into a standard position. Let's get to it. Top, and I'm hoping that it's not corrosion I'm seeing on the screw. I have a little less confidence in this one because this is an all metal device, but I'm thinking that I'm seeing some corrosion in there already. How do I make this? Just a bit of corrosion. That one looks a little better. I have to check the bands, the power band on this. 2, 3, 4, and 2 on this side as well. So the 2 back ones were the small ones. We want to remember that. As I was saying before, some of the just fucking flew off somewhere. There it is. Some of the screws are bigger than others on some of these. So let us take this off and see what it's like. I want to be very careful. Okay, it's not so bad. The belt has been destroyed. There is no visible corrosion except for maybe a little bit here on the case. So I'll do that with a Q-tip. I won't soak it. The belt is completely destroyed. It is actually hard, so that is good. It's going to make removing of this belt a lot easier, hopefully. And yeah, squeeze these too hard. Still some belts left on this. This one didn't turn to jelly. This one turned to stone, which is nice. There's still a little bit of rubber in there. I'm less afraid of scratching this one because this is metal and plastic. That is going to require some IPA. No, there it goes. Sometimes it will require a little bit of IPA to loosen up that. We've got some belt here too. It looks like it is stuck down pretty good, so that's definitely going to need IPA in to properly get out. There is a little bit of corrosion on that, which is interesting. And where that came from. This rubber pulley does not seem to have anything on it, which is great. That has a tiny little bit on it. That also seems to have a little bit of corrosion on it, which is, again, not great. I wonder where all that corrosion is coming from. So several of these parts are going to need to be bathed in vinegar. I should be able to remove this somehow. I think I need to take it off and loosen the screw under here. Oh. This is going to need a deep clean. You can see how grody this is. It's going to need a new rubber wheel here. That is destroyed. What about this one? Should probably replace both of them at the same time. So it needs 2 wheels. It needs a belt. I really don't like the state of this either. Holy shit. This was not stored very good. Let's go ahead and what we do? That is a screw. Probably gonna need to take the board out and get to the underneath. I was afraid of that. Corrosion has done some work. Please tell me this is where the potentiometer is. It's got a bunch of capacitors. The potentiometer is also going to be on the underside of this. We're going to need to take this board. This is soldered in from the other side as well. Then we'll have this dry belt. This doesn't look like it's being fed from the top, so I should be able to remove this fairly easily, but this one is being fed from underneath. So I do have to remove the belt before I can take this one out. That's good. The real question is, how do I do that? There is no... Well, there is one screw here. But that's not related to... Or do I have to take this plastic off? Can I do that? It's going to be a pain. Plastic being held in somehow. Well, let's at least clean this negative terminal. Let's get this negative terminal out. Set to heat this up. Lift from the middle. And from the side, and then from the middle again. Straight into the acid. Or into the vinegar. You can't see it, but I do see bubbles, which means that the vinegar is neutralizing the acid. Leave that on there. I want to clean the flux. So there is a little bit of residue of battery acid from here. I'll just clean it up with some IPA to get rid of it. That is also just a little bit. Does this have to be on the underside? Let's take that screw out. Maybe after I remove this, there will be some... the entire frame can be lifted up a little bit, so I might be able to squeeze that out. I'll take this screw over here out as well. That seems to be holding that back plane in. No, but I'm gonna also want to remove this. Let's remove that. Because I did see a little bit of greening on there, and I want to make sure that this is all properly cleaned. Very good. Did that stay lifted out? Yes, it did. And then we just lift that out there. So this frame, this middle part here is plastic. And you definitely see a little bit of corrosion on the plastic there. Main board out. Yep. It's just spinning. That is not good. I wonder if that is because that screw post is busted. Let's remove the whole battery container. Screw here. Does lift it, so I might be able to remove just the entire battery container. These do not need to be attached. That is great. I don't like this at all. So I'm going to want to try to remove as much of the corrosion from this as possible before I move on. The problem is, I'm going to need to get to the underside to see how much corrosion there is. I also need to get to the underside so I can remove the positive terminal. Okay, so this looks like it pops out. So I'm just going to do that now. That is nice and accessible. That is good. So that flex cable has been removed. So screw here. I'm going to move the main board screws down here. These are the battery terminal screws. Here. Oh, that might be the potentiometer. That is an odd place for it. Okay, lift this up. That is attached by ribbon cable. Have a look underneath and... Okay, this doesn't look so bad. This does not look as bad as I thought it was going to look. That is the potentiometer, so that screw here feeds the potentiometer over here. Which is great. It means I'm not going to have to dig for it. The positive terminal should now come out. So let's get to that. I'm enjoying this music remix that I found. This is a better one. It's more than 3 or 4 songs. Hope everyone's liking this music remix as well. I'm going to need to wick that. That positive terminal is down heavy. So that's just a through hole. So just pick up the rest of that. And what I mean by a through hole is that it's just connected underneath from there. So if we lift this and then lift up on the board like so, it should come out. But I think it is still... Oh, I see. It is still screwed in. Who the hell thought of that? We want to make this super secure. So secure that no one can take it out. I get that. Tweezers. I'm out now. I think I might still need to. We're stuck on. That's annoying. Okay, so now that I've got the board lifted up, let's see if I can get the... Okay, I should be able to remove the chassis. That's good. Need to record that. There we go. We can get the chassis off. That's good. Okay, we put the main board to the side. We take a look at... Ah, there we go. That's ingenious. Okay, so let's clean this plastic up. Good old IPA Q-tipping. This battery frame seems to be in really good condition, other than the aforementioned slight battery corrosion that was on it. Up. Okay, we're letting these bathe for a little bit. And already the negative terminal looks fantastic. That cleaned up super well. Oh, I love that. So I am going to want to give a little bit of a vinegar to some of the components. I'm just going to do this manually with a Q-tip to just get rid of some of the excess. And the main reason for that is because we've got what looks to be a little bit of corrosion around some of these pulleys, which is concerning, to say the least. Maybe it's just some residue from the belt, but I don't want to risk that. Especially this one here. If I put some on there, what happens? I don't think that's corrosion. I think that's just residue from the belt, but I want to be safe. So we're going to douse this a little bit because it is very, very green. This one didn't have in... Oh, it does have a little green. I'm not going to be able to get that in there, but I'm going to try just doing IPA with that one. That one should just be fine. There was the plastic up here. Cleaning away. Was there any underneath? I don't see any. Weird. Do you want to... So the battery acid didn't seem to do too much. There was definitely some corrosion in places that I wasn't expecting it. But otherwise, this one just needs a good deep clean, which we can accommodate. This one. And give this board a quick light IPA on this side. I'll get to the bullets afterwards. I'll get IPA on this side as well. Just a light dousing. All the pulleys seem to be fine. So I'm glad I'm not going to have to do maintenance on there, but it is a little rusty, so I'm just going to give this a little bit. Well, just to get rid of some of that dust. Just here. Nothing left on this side. Well, I'm going to give that a little bit more of a bath, so I'm going to tackle some of the groaniness in here. I really don't like the look of those pulleys. They look completely rusted, like these here. That is copper oxide that is rubbing off, so that is unfortunate. I wonder if I can get those removed and then order some. Okay, so they're attached to these, so I might want to see if I can get like a full replacement kit for that. Then just do a full cleaning, replacing of everything. Because you can see that since this has been sitting in like this closed position for so long, this is dented. It's rusted and dented in. So that absolutely needs to be replaced. The tape head looks fine, which is good. So new pulleys, new belt, new rubber tracks. But the head looks fine. I'm just gonna get a fresh Q-tip and give that a quick cleaning just to. No, that is. Yeah, it's just a little dirty, but that head should be perfectly fine. It's in. We're definitely going to have to order some extra parts for this. Okay. Let's get our corrosive parts out of the corrosion bath. Quick inspection. This looks a lot better. The green around the terminal is good. This looks brand spanking new. This was covered in corrosive acid before, and it is now spick and span. This is also looking really good. All right, so we can give these a bath with IPA. Get rid of any of that vinegar that's still on there. Then we can solder these parts back on, put this back together, and start ordering some bits for it. I'm amazed how well this component came back together. That is so good. A little bit of green there. There's a little bit of green here. Okay, well, I'll let that dry. I'll customize this. Needs belt and pulleys. Belt. Pulleys. Instead of rusted. Needs the leather rollers. Done. And before I start putting things together, I did want to have a look at the piece again. I do need to clean some of that corrosion up. The Q-tip. So one end is going to be for the vinegar. The other bit is going to be for the IPA. Because we do not want this beautiful, beautiful chrome casing getting corroded. Yeah, I think it's just this point here that already looks a ton better. It is peeling a little bit, I think, but no one's gonna see that. There we go. It's the other side. Okay. Let's neutralize the vinegar. Looks a lot better. Then let's just give this a quick de-dusting. Just to clean this up. And there we go. That's a little bit of belt. Pretty as a picture. All right. Let's get all these components back in. First things first, I need to do the tricky positive terminal, which slid in like this. Then we lift this up to, no, we just push that in. That is lined up with the screw. Right. This up and put this back over. Oh, I need to put that over like this as well. Be careful with this. Don't want to end up ripping any of the ribbon cables on this thing. I'm doing this off frame, unfortunately, but there's not much I can do. This has to be taken care of delicately. Just like loose from underneath. Just like so. Alright, that is as good as that's going to get. but that should hold itself in once I get the battery case screwed back in. Let's screw in some of these mainboard screws. I don't want to butts with this board being loose for too long. So I am going to need to screw that in. Oh, I'm going to need to lift this back up, aren't I? Fuck me. All right. Because I need to screw the battery terminal in. It was a long screw, wasn't it? Which makes no sense because that's going to stick out so far. I kind of want to double check that. No, this one goes in there. That one goes in there. This one was a short screw. Has to be a short screw. It can't be a long screw. Just be careful. It's not even going in. It doesn't want to go in. Why? Why, you bastard? This is a difficult way. Eight tiny screws. See, that goes straight in. We need to put this straight in as well. Line up. It's not going to. Oh no, that's good. Two screws from over there. Okay, that should be all the screws. We'll put this back in for now. Let's be taking it back out again. Always be careful with ribbon cables. Now we need to solder that point on. We need to solder this point back on as well. This goes like this. Yes, it does. That's how it was. Then we need to solder something like this. Or flux touch one. Again, we don't need a lot of flux, just a tiny amount of flux. Iron. Up and fresh solder. I'm just going to use the edge of my tweezers to push that down ever so gently, and that just falls into place. Same thing with this one. Push down ever so gently with a touch of tweezers. Although that one's going to need a lot more solder because I whipped it all up. So big old solder blob. We soldered on. This one I didn't solder it all up, so we're just going to drop this in place. Perfect. There, the piece of old belt can go chuck right off. All right. Got two of the battery terminal screws to plug in. Goes in here. No. Other. No. Just getting it everywhere now. And I've missed a screw. Where does that screw go? Oh, I love it when I miss a screw. Here, a screw here, a screw here. I thought there was a screw. There was a screw there. Was there a screw over here? I don't think so. Screw here? I guess that's where we put it. Because there's only 6 screws on the outside, and I've got an extra screw. So I'm going to have to go back into the video to figure out where I misplaced this screw. I think that's for the outside. Joy of joys. It may also have been like something from over here. That's fine. I'll look through the video. We can just put this in the container for now, just so we know that we didn't lose it. And then we can just put this case back on for now. Make sure that all of the switches are in the right place. These need to be down here. Yep. Down. Next. Like that on. This was the rough part because I have to. Oh, because I didn't go over the bobby knob. That's the switches. They are fine. Let me do the menu. There will be a cat break after this. Kitty cat wants attention. The two short screws were at the bottom. These two were at the top. That's where I tackled the top. And they're different lengths. Of course, they fucking are. Short one was closest. No. Right. When screws are different sizes pisses me off so greatly. Hi, Minu. There you go. A moment, and I will be with you. Basically, what that tells me is someone was already in this and screwed up some of the screws. That is fine. I can address that. Got spare screws. See, that one's not going in. These two were for the bottom. So that is that one there. We will put that here. We will grab the accessory kit and put that in there as well. Where did I put that? That's the accessory kit. I knew it is 0031 here for now. I shall spray my hands off. Probably also look into a moisturizer so these don't dry out all the way, but whatever. Let me see if I can get cat camp set up. Wow. Wow. Yes. No. You stay. You here. Stay. No, he's following me. You see where I moved some stuff around and now I can't find it. It's this one here. Yes, it is. That's not it. Here it is. It does look to be working today as well. So. What else? Yes. Pictures are showing up. No. we'll take a quick break with a little bit of cat cam. Vino. Big baby, that's what you are. I wish that the autofocus in this camera was better, but not much I can do about that. This, this. He's happy. Yeah, look at you, Mr. Neil. Let's. If he wants to take a nap on my unit bench, and if he does, then I will leave the cat cam corner. Use my head as a pillow. This is what I have to put up with. Really. See if he'll let me wander away, or if he's going to turn back. I shall move the cat cam down into a corner. It's going to take a little tired. Needs a little slip. Actually, I know how to fix this. Then There we go. Gotta take a little slip. So we only have an hour left, so I'm going to try to rush through these next two. Anything that requires corrosion, I will take care of immediately. Let's remove our batteries. These batteries come courtesy of Haradoff, a Japanese company that specializes in selling used goods. I am going to try to remove this front panel first. 0032. Let me itemize this. ATAST. Don't have a container for the last one, so it makes things a little scary. Let's take off the front panel first. I need to eject. Mechanism. I have no idea how that works. Is that magnetized? I'm not sure. I'm concerned that there's supposed to be another PCB here. Because there is like the battery lights show up down here, but this fast forward button actually does nothing. And if okay, let's take that off. And this does look like it is just taped down, so the tape needs to be replaced on the front console. Let's do a quick removal of this. Oh, hello, Minu. Do you not want to take a nap? If doing an IPA clean removes some of this yellowing, it does seem to removing some of it. You might be able to do something better about that in the future. Just make sure that it's clean. I'm actually curious. I want to open this up. Okay, Kitty Cat has decided to leave. I'm going to jump to Cat Can for now. What a shame. Kitty Cat left. So I am going to quickly open this up because I'm curious to see what the inside of this looks like. Because this is a very compact, so I guess that doesn't really need to have too much in there, just the tuner. Is bound by the strap up there, so we're just going to take a peek inside. Oh, everything's on the bottom. Okay, so we see all the guts in there. I'm not going to lift it too much. There's the tuning band, which works perfectly fine. Any real problems with any of the internals? I'm not going to try to open that any further because I don't want to ruin this. But very cool stuff. If the tuning band was broken, then I would need to open it up further. But since it's not, I am not going to touch it. Just keep it as it is. So there doesn't seem to be any terrible corrosion here, which is great. Or no corrosion at all, I should say. I'm going to give this a dousing of IPA. Just give that a whiz. The rubber feet look good. The rubber wheels look really good. So I don't need to replace them. Ah, I see, because they engage once you put the tape in. And since the cartridge was sitting inside of it, like this, it has been protecting the rubber feet and the magnetic stripe reader. Very nice. So this is in pretty good nick. My fear is what is going to happen when we try to take this apart. Close that up for now. Yeah, I can just pull that out. Okay, good. Some of that. Okay. Well, we gotta do it. There's two up the top. That case needs to be realigned gently. These are shorter screws, so over here. Shorter screws up top, longer screws down the bottom. Now, does this come apart? It's going to need to come up like that. So I'm going to turn this down to 0. I have to lift from here. Let's see if that takes it. Yes, it does. Okay. First of all, that's in the off position. It's on the out position. So those are all 9. And now we need to potentially pry this up. Not out, but up. It's catching on that. So let's try catching up here. Okay, so that looks like that's attached to the case. Oh my god, how do I do this? Oh, there's a screw here that I missed. Okay, the screw in the battery terminal. Would free it from its trap, hopefully. No? Maybe. I don't think there's a screw that I'm missing. Seems to be coming up. That seems to be coming up. It's getting caught on something. Maybe I have to take the wheel off. I don't think so. Because that's lifting with. No, it's not. Oh. Let's try. If that does anything. Well, let's consult a service manual for this real quick. This is the. To capture green. The AS 26. You to show stress blood tells us. This is the US version I'm looking at, but it should be pretty much the same. The difference, I believe, is the shape of the fast forward button, where the Japanese one is square, this one is triangular. So how do I move? Two screws here, two screws here, two screws there. Okay. Move the ornamental screw, the ornamental screw, and the volume knob of the. Okay, so the volume. So there are screws that hold that in. I did not see any of the screws. We're gonna have to take a close look at that. Oh, I see. That's the screw itself. Do I have a bit for that, Duda? Closest is going to be something like this, but I think that's going to be too big. Maybe. I'm going to need to buy a bit for that. Let's try this down to 0. Let's try seeing if... Okay, I can just use a SIM card thing to do that. Okay, that is... So we move this screw, the volume button, and now this should just pop off. Okay, cool. Neat. I already see some of the belt coming off. So definitely needs a new belt. That is a... Just put that in there. It's one of the... That is for the side over here. This is dense. Holy moly. Ah, the... Oh my lord. There's the potentiometers. The caps look pretty good. That's a grounding plane, so we don't want to touch that. That's just grounding the chassis. Doesn't look too bad so far from this angle. This one that I'm worried about. So let's take these front screws off. There we go, and that went over here. 1. 2. And there was a different one. No. We need to remove these 2 tiny screws here. Very, very carefully. Those are some tiny ass screws. Look how tiny that is, right on the tip of my screwdriver. And this front plate should hopefully just come off. There's a screw here, 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 and here as well. A lot of tiny screws. But I definitely felt that lift off, so I'm going to put all these tiny screws into one area so I can find them. But if I don't need to get into the back, then that is great. I won't do that next time. Actually, I will need to so I can adjust the potentiometers. Now just come off. There's the drive mechanisms. Then we've got that screw here. Fly box flew off somewhere. This is a massively complex device. I cannot believe how complex this is. Speaker? That's held in by screws. I think that's part of the motor. It's the grounding plane. That's holding battery terminals in. Battery terminals look good. I don't need to touch those. I need to figure out where this came from. I think it came from in there. I think. It should have come from in here. Could be something that goes here. I don't know. Gonna need to check the video. That turns this. Could be this. I think that's that one there. Okay, that makes sense because that turns now. I don't think I need to be in here, so I'm gonna put this back together. First thing, it's a little. This thing goes in there. Okay, so I don't need to be on this side at all, which is good because I don't want to fuck with that side at all. So we've got everything back into place. Let's just close this up. This is all behind the scenes cogs and stuff. So that tells us that everything that we need is... That's a worthless screw now, isn't it? I think that goes there. Put it here. Everything that we need is on the other side. Let's get these tiny screws in first. I might need to save the prize for another stream. Can't get this done because I need to take a break and eat before raid. If I raid on an empty stomach, I am not good. Let's put that in on an angle. I want to prevent that. Let's pick up that. Make it easier to work with. That is going into metal screw posts as well, so I don't have to look for a catch. That's nice. You can tell that this was made with absolute quality in mind. Six. And then we had the two large screws. I think that's what's holding the motor in. So we want to make sure that they stay in. Yeah, that's attached to the motor at the back. So these are the motor screws. Quick, you can see it's out of alignments. We can just grab our sim tool from before. It's back here. That is now in alignment. We can grab our screw and screw that back in. Okay. I'm going to need to get underneath to figure out why that's not screwing in now. I see the screw threads. There we go. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. All right, so nothing that we need is underneath here, which means that we're going to need a pry off one. There's more belts. It's disintegrating everywhere. Get up belt scraps and put them on a Kim wipe. What's this? That is a metal cap. I'm going to keep that aside. I think I know where that goes. It is a copper rail that I think gets going to be a copper rail that gets put under this screw here, probably. Yeah, see, this is still wobbling. Yeah, that fits. And that should, I believe, stop the motor from moving so much after it's screwed up. Yeah, there we go. That's where that went. So I'm going to need to desolder those rubber. Solder iron's going to sleep, which is fine. Let's see if we can get away with just moving the PCB. This is, I'm going to have to remember the ground. So this is a screw with a ground on it. There's only one other screw, so it makes that a little easier. Any other screw to remove? No, but there is a flex cable over here. Yeah, you can see this is the belt. Absolutely destroyed. This one has turned to petroleum. This is going to be fun to work on. Interesting. They've got two resistors, one that goes over here, and then one that goes over to this rail here behind what looks like two diodes. That's your resistors. Perhaps. How do I flip this over? I believe I need to remove these side screws as well. Do I? No. Okay, I don't need to do that. It's your power. There's a screw under here as well. I see it now. They love to hide screws underneath some of the rubber mats. Well, not rubber mats, the felt mats. This is protecting stuff. There's no screw there. This is protecting stuff. There is no screw there. That might be it now. It's lifting a little bit more. Oh, that is... Is there anything else that I need to remove? Okay. Just double check underneath these, underneath the felt. There's nothing there. There's nothing under this. That's just protecting some contact points. There was a screw here. Was there a screw under here? I think so, but there does look to be room for one right there. You're going to have to just take my word on it. I'm not going to be able to get a good angle on this. There is no screw there. So we can lift some of the board up. I think it's catching on the battery terminal. Can we remove the battery terminal? Ah, there's another screw here that I missed. The battery terminal. Is that lifted now? Yes, it does. Very, very gently. There's some flywheels in there. I am probably going to need to desolder these joints here, and I'm not looking forward to that. All I wanted to do is just like clean it for now, but I might have to do that after I buy the new belts. I think this one just needs a new belt. It does power up, the motor does run, but it's not doing anything. It's just going to need a new belt. So we got most of the belt out, but I was not able to do a cleaning. So I'm just going to call this just needing a new belt. Let's put this back together. The grounding wire goes here. This one goes up here. These are all the same length, which is great. This one goes in here. We will do all of the heavy stuff once I've got the new belt. I don't want to have to take this apart more than once if all that is needed is a belt. Luckily, there's no battery terminal corrosion for this, so we are super lucky there. I don't see any corrosion on it, so we are looking really, really good. It's fallen in there. That leads back in. That should be all the screws I took out, which means we can put this back on. So the two longer screws were on the bottom, I believe. I think they were at the top. Okay. Yeah, these ones were at the top. Okay, this is the bottom. Oh, no, this is the top. This is the top. Bottom gets the shorter ones. These are also slightly thicker. Short and slightly thicker. Because these screws didn't go into the right posts. No, it didn't go into the posts, I should say. And then I will put the volume control back on. Add this at 0. Goes on. It can go on 2 ways, it looks like. So we just want to make sure that it is right. Yes, it is. Put this back in. We just do a in. Let's do this. Add the doesn't want to go in. Now it does. Then I'm just going to put the 2 other screws that I had for the front. I'm just going to put them into where they need to be, but I'm not going to put it back together. Mostly because I want to leave that front off. I want to do some more looking at the front, my off time. I am going to give this a quick IPA clean because the fun of the belt has come off on here. I did leave that off on purpose as well. It is already in there. Rub. I need to get the rubber off my fingers. Oh my god. Hey, Keen. So you didn't get the story earlier, but this is the second most expensive of the Walkmans that I have to repair. It is if you want to get a full rundown of the Walkmans, certainly go back and have a look at the beginning of the stream because I go into a little bit of detail as to how I came across these. I didn't go into too much detail for how much they will sell for because you can look that up online. I didn't go into detail as to how much these were bought for. I didn't go into that at all. But trust me when I say that I have about $3,000 worth of Walkmans that I'm fixing. Yeah, Walkmans. This one is really neat, and when you go back into the VOD and have a look at it, you'll see why I love this one so much. I wish I could keep this, but it's not mine. It is gorgeous. I love it. But just as a quick teaser, this Walkman has a FM tuner stereo, FM tuner pack, which you just put in here, and it works. It works perfectly fine. And then when you put a tape in, it sticks out the top like that. It's fantastic. I absolutely love this thing. That's my test tape. So I look to have gotten rid of all of the rubber. I'm going to go through and clean this thing again after I finish it. That should be good to go. 0032. Okay, let's itemize this. Et la crayon. Et la crayon. And ici. 2. And if you're wondering what the most expensive Walkman is, it's this one here. Again, not going to go into costs or anything like that. You can look at that at the beginning of the stream. It is expensive. And this is why this is called the spooky stream, is because I am terrified of not being able to fix these. I am terrified of breaking them. So I'm being super careful. This is from the... Oh, I forgot to clean that from 0031. Let me do that right now. Good thing I caught that. So a little bit of vinegar. A little bit of vinegar on that to clean it. That may even just be a little bit of glue on there as well that's turned green over time. I don't think so, though. Because the leads themselves were a bit dirty. No, it's coming off. Oh, that corrosion. More. Let's see if we can scrape that off. Yeah. $3,000 on the Walkman is crazy. But again, that Walkman is supposed to be one of the best available. And I'm looking forward to fixing it and giving it a listen. Yeah, that's clean enough. Neutralize that. And that is what we like to call good. I'll put that in with my 0031. I'm gonna clean workstation. What's the time? I've got 4 minutes. Let's do a quick rundown. I can do some. I can do dinner in half an hour. I really want to get this open and get parts ordered for this. The MIDI disc I will look at once I get my reference, my test tape. Not reference tape, it's a test tape, test track. It's got a like any of the music that I get, I can't unfortunately play on stream for obvious reasons. So you're gonna have to take my word on it, but I will need it to test whether or not sound is coming through and everything. And yeah, the one that you didn't see was the mini disc, but I don't have anything to test that with at the moment. Without further ado, Let's take a look at 003, which I'm not going to spend too much time on. I have run out of boxes to put things in. So this needs to be cleaned. That's obvious. I can take care of that, no problem. It's not a major job. This is a lovely leather case, by the way. Absolutely lovely. And this is a WMDD9. You can look that up for yourself. First thing is first, I don't see any corrosion on the battery terminals. 2 motor disk drive, which is going to be a little funky. The is a little bit of wear, but we might be able to get away with not having to replace that. Let me check something real quick. Okay, no, that's fine. What I was looking for there is indentation, and it doesn't seem to be indenting. If it was indented, then I would need to replace this roller. But it seems fine. So let's get 1, 2, 3 screws off. Is there a big screw that goes through the middle? No. So 1, 2, 3. Just 3 screws for this. Okay. Bottom first. South side, I should say. South side first. Those are both the same screw. So is that. That is good to know. These are all in the same position. Put that on hold. Does this come off? Yes, it does. Okay. That is part 1. There is a little bit of rustiness in there that I'm going to have to clean. It looks like some silicone to hold the bits in firmly. Okay, so to get to the next layer, I'm going to need to desolder a couple of points. That is unfortunate. There looks to be... the drivetrain is on the bottom. I wonder if I can tackle it from the other side. Oh, there it is. I might be able to tackle that from the other side, so I might want to instead take the front off instead of the back. Was taking the back off. Oh wait, no. There it is. There's the belt sandwiched in between these 2 layers. So I am going to need to desolder this. I don't know if this flex cable doesn't seem to be secured to anything as well. I don't know if it needs to be. So one thing's for sure is that we need a new belt. And I might not want to tear it down any further than that because this is going to require me to desolder a whole bunch of flex cables, and I don't want to do that right now. Let's just do another check on the battery terminals. They do look fine. There might be a little bit of corrosion on this end here. Now that we've got the back off, can we see that a little better? there? No, I would need to. Oh, well, there we go. Does not look like there's any corrosion in there. You can't see it, unfortunately. So you're just going to have to, because I have to get the light in there and everything. But there does not look to be any corrosion there. There might be some slight corrosion on the positive terminal, but that's fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and order a new belt for this. I'm not taking this apart any further. I am scared of this thing. This fell out. Goody. That is supposed to be glued in, I think, so... Interesting. Interesting. Ah, I see. No, it's not supposed to be glued in, but it is held in place. Move all these back down to south. And I want to put this in like that. Switches work. Good. So, yeah, this one is also going to need a new belt. Good. These have been itemized. I will order all the bits and pieces tonight. Like this one went up the top up here. Then these were set aside. And believe me when I say that this thing is hefty. It is really, really heavy. It is made of metal. This is a metal case. Everything about this is absolutely gorgeous. Please. Why are you saying so? Yes, this is a VCR repair channel. I've not got this lined up well. It's a bit of a... Ah, there we go. It's because the case needs to be pushed in. Go. All right, so 0033, I'll just put that back into its leather pouch. Needs a thing. We don't have time to work on the other Walkman today. The one that I need to just put a belt in and test, because I do have RAID in an hour. Nah. They do better work. But yeah, that is it for now. I'll be back in an hour. If anyone wants to watch me play some Final Fantasy XIV, we're progressing on the last fight of the Savage tier, which we got to this week. Hooray! Before we go, I'm just going to give this a bit of a spritz. Get rid of any of the petroleum that was left over. So tonight, in about an hour, there is going to be some Final Fantasy 15. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a little bit of Slay the Spire, and then I'm out tomorrow afternoon until Sunday evening. I probably won't pick this up on Sunday evening. I'll probably start again on Monday. Monday, I'm supposed to be receiving a large shipment of capacitors, so we can do the other Walkman that I was talking about to put that belt in, readjust everything. I hope I get the reference tape on Monday, but I might not. And then we've got a whole bunch of Xboxes to recap. So, yeah, thanks for joining me. I hope that everyone had a lovely time. And if you're gonna stick around for some 14, then I will see you in an hour. Otherwise, stay frosty.